Okay, welcome back, and I'm Adam,
I'm Dan.
and we are going to review Jigsaw today. Same day we reviewed Blade Runner, but still today.
No, not the same day. It's just been a week, and we're wearing the same outfits.
Yes, we only have 5 shirts.
Yeah,
we only have seven shirts.
Yeah,
we only have 7
we
shirts.
just cycle through them, and it just happened to be the same.
The funny thing is
day.
that if you actually do watch our reviews, there's a lot of reviews where I'm wearing the Haters Wanted shirt, so it actually does look like we are filming these things my fucking my cycle is synced. Every Sunday I wear that same shirt. Okay. Anyway, so we saw Jigsaw. You, for the Saw franchise, you haven't seen really any of them.
I saw the first one, and I saw this one, and that's about it.
Okay. So that's where he's coming from in this review. I myself, I am planning on doing like a overview of a video of an overview of the franchise where I give my reviews. So I'll just quickly say that I am a casual fan of Saw. I do love the first one, and I do love the second one. The second one to me is one of the greatest horror sequels, I think. It's definitely a lot better than it should be, considering it's a sequel, but it is. It's a great sequel, and I really do love Saw 1, and I love Saw 2. Saw 3, to me, was not as good. It's okay, and at the time when that was the third movie, and, like, fucking Jigsaw dies at the end of it, like, it was at least fitting for a final movie. Like, if this was a trilogy, like, okay, fine, that's okay. Unfortunately, a famous person, I'm sure, once said, money speaks. Mm-hmm. And these movies made hundreds of millions of dollars, even though they only cost like a few million to make each. So that's why we got fucking 4 more after that one. Yeah. And for my views of Saw 4 through 7 are that some of them are decent, some of them suck. The fucking plots get very confusing because essentially when you get to the sequels, they like try to fill in and answer plot holes that didn't exist. Mm-hmm. So essentially, like you saw, like you'll see a scene in the first movie of like someone grabbing, like Dr. Gordon, I think his name was, I forget the actor's name, the guy who was in Princess Bride.
Carrie Elwood.
Yeah, like when fucking someone grabbed Carrie Elwood's in the pig mask, like you assumed it was Jigsaw, for the first 3 films, that's what you assume. And then it finds out, like, no, it's this one cop who works with him. Which in terms actually makes sense that Jigsaw would have helped since he is a man battling cancer, you know?
Yeah, and he's already pretty old. So.
Yeah, so it actually did make sense. But, like, it was just the idea, like, throughout the sequels, they were trying to answer these plot holes that didn't really exist.
It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's more that just you still didn't need it, though. Like you just assumed and there was no real problem with that.
But, like, for horror films, I enjoy most of them. They're the type of movie that, like, if they're on, like, I don't own any of them. The only 2 I own is the Saw 1 and Saw 2. That's the only ones I own. Those are the only ones that once in a while I will get, like, an itch to watch. But, like, if Saw 6 is on TV and there's nothing on TV, it's one of those type of movies. It's good to put on for background noise, you know? It's good to put on. They're good to watch when you don't want to watch anything, essentially. Yeah. And, like, anyway, so, like, that's my view of the Saw films. And then you got the Saw 7, which was the final chapter. That was the one in 3D. And it was, like, at the time, like, that was the last one. Like, and, like, it left, like, an open ending for a sequel. But it ended also in a way where it's, like, if that's it, that's it. And it was a decent ending, And for 7 years, that was the case. It was the last one. And then they made Jigsaw.
Like, literally, we walked out of the movie or waiting in the lobby for his wife to come back. And he turns to me and he goes, so what did you think? And I'm just like, this was stupid. And not the good kind.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm all for, a cheesy, dumb movie. But this was not, like, it wasn't infuriating necessarily. But that's mostly because I went in expecting this to be dumb.
Yeah.
And it met that expectation. But there's just, there's so much of the movie you could nitpick, but you don't even have to do the nitpicks. There's so much of the movie that doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not in, like, the mystery way. It's not in, like, the, maybe they'll explain it, next time. Maybe it's, like, maybe that's, like, a thread that they're going to pull later. Like, no, there's just parts of the movie that don't make sense. And it has to do with, they tried to put a big twist in this one. Mm-hmm. And that, like, as much as I hate to kind of reveal it, I also don't care because screw this movie.
No, but I was going to say, be my guest, you can reveal it because I was trying to talk about that.
So, if, like, I will say, if you don't want to hear how it ends, stop paying attention now. But, so, we find out at the end of this movie that technically, the parts of the movie that were people in the traps and trying to get out.
The game.
Yeah, the game. Yeah, thank you. Technically, that had all happened 10 years previously. And that it was technically before all of the other Saw movies.
Yeah, it
and
was
so
supposed to be his first
that
game.
part actually kind of, sort of, almost worked.
Yeah.
Because they actually did work it in. There was a trap there that we are told from another character. I don't want to go into all those details, but we're told by another character that the trap we see in there was technically a design he had for a game that predated the ones we knew about from Saw 1 to 7. And we see it in action, and therefore they're technically hinting that that's what's going on without revealing it until the end. And so that was clever. That was okay. That was well done.
It was the reveal was actually pretty good.
And then the whole thing about how, like, you know, it was like it technically happened 10 years ago before all of the other ones means that Saw 7 was still technically the final chapter of the Jigsaw, at least. Because the bigger twist in this one, and it's bigger in the implications, but it's not nearly as good of a twist, is that one of the characters we've seen the whole time is responsible for this, because Jigsaw, it turns out, is finally actually dead this time. He basically tried to recreate that game, but with little differences because he's going after this dirty cop. Meaning, this isn't about a game, it's just a very elaborate murder.
Basically, he reveals that the only reason he has the cop in a device is because he was responsible for letting a criminal go who ended up murdering his wife.
Yeah.
So his whole thing wasn't even really about anything that Jigsaw stood for. It was more about revenge on this guy.
It was about revenge.
Which to me is just really? You couldn't just wait outside his house one day and just stab him in the neck?
That's the thing I was actually thinking about earlier when I knew we were going to do the review, because I hated that moment when I saw it, because he says, Jigsaw gave away for people to win so that they could get out, and the guy didn't give him that.
No, he didn't.
Meaning it wasn't a game, it was just elaborate murder.
He let him die by Star Trek technology.
Yeah,
apparently
that's the other thing.
Fuse-verse.
Literally, it's a thing we see in the movie. He or his assistant uses it to cut through.
It's a laser. It's a laser.
It's a laser.
Fucking laser beam.
But it literally makes the Star Trek tricorder sound when they turn it on, and I recognized it because I've watched Star Trek, and I laughed at the theater when it happened because it was such a blatant rip-off sound effect. The only other part of the movie that was actually pretty good was it was technically part of the game, which again happened 10 years ago. But the final trap, the final puzzle, is the last two survivors are in a room, and Jigsaw puts a shotgun mounted on a thing between them.
Yeah.
And he sets it up he puts one shell in it, and he goes, this is the key to your salvation. You blah blah blah. He gives some whole Jigsaw monologue. If you've seen the movies, you know what to expect. But he gives a whole monologue. He says something about you've got it backwards. And then he leaves the room, and the implication then, of course, it appears that whichever one kills the other one gets to go free. However, the part that is good is the woman gets it, shoots the guy, goes to fire at the guy, but the guy figures out, wait, you've got it backwards, but he can't warn her in time before she pulls the trigger, and the gun fires backwards and kills her.
It kills her.
Now, as he goes to examine, I guess her body or whatever, he sees on the floor pieces that came out of the shell, and he sees two broken keys that were to their shackles. And that was actually clever. That went back to the first movie of how technically you could have gotten out of here the whole time.
Yeah,
had you just been smart.
The problem with this movie and with some of these traps is that the traps are really based on just a series of convenient coincidences. Because it's the one trap in the silo, if all three of the characters would have went in the silo, they all would be dead.
Yeah.
But because the one guy, luckily, fucking fell into the floor and got stuck in the one trap.
Yeah.
He's the key for them to get out of the silo. But if he never did that, and all three of them went in the silo, they'd all be dead.
Now see, even that I would have accepted. If they all went in the silo and died, and none of them had gone to the other place to interact with it, you could have played it off as had you taken the initiative or whatever. But again, Jigsaw says at what he's talking to the guy saying you wouldn't have had to lose your leg had you followed the rules. But if he hadn't done that, they would be dead. They would
just be dead.
And he wouldn't have been in a position where he could have saved them anyway. So it doesn't make sense. He's breaking the rules.
No, it doesn't. It exist in this world. Because there's a scene where they're chained to by like a dog collar essentially
Mm-hmm.
to a fucking chain, and it starts stringing them up to hang them. But before that, they end up finding 3 needles. Syringes, yeah. And Jigsaw explains in the tape, okay, 2 of them are filled with acid, and one of them is like...
Well, no, one of them was filled with just saline.
Yeah.
One was filled with an antidote for a poison that was put in one of the people. And then the third one is like an acid that will eat you from the inside.
Yeah. Oh, either way. So, essentially, this girl... And they end up finding out it's this girl's, like, specific game.
Yeah.
Okay? And the guy who's holding these 3 syringes between his fingers, like Freddy Krueger, is like, okay, pick one, right? Mm-hmm. And she ends up figuring it out because they have numbers on them, and one of them is 3.54 or something. And in the tape she gets, he says, "What's a life worth to you?"
Yeah,
and then it's
and
revealed,
that was how much money she stole,
and it's revealed that like she stole a purse from some old lady who fucking ended up dying after she stole it, and all that was in it was $3.54. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she ends up figuring it out, and the guy's like, pick. And she doesn't want to pick it for some reason, even though she figured it the fuck out.
Now they're all going to die if she doesn't do it.
So essentially, the chain starts pulling them, and essentially starts to hang all 4 of the characters. So the guy who's next to her just plunges the fucking all 3 of the needles into her, and then they get released. So they all live. Except he plunged every single needle into her, so she ends up dying. Yeah. And then the 2 other people treat him like he's an asshole.
Right.
And like they're all like yelling like, "You killed her!" And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, "Well, fucking thank him, because if fucking he didn't do that, you'd all be dead."
Like he did say
things they do just don't make any sense. Like the fact that like the cop who's investigating these Jigsaw murders in the present time, for some reason, without question or any reason, starts to actually start thinking that the mortician's assistant is the Jigsaw killer.
Just because of like she's not as like, I guess, affected by things as she should be. Yeah. Even though like people in that job are historically kind of like
even though she works in a morgue and deals with dead bodies, for some reason he questions her.
Like, oh, she's into this.
And then we actually find out that like actually he ends up finding out he's actually got a good hunch, because like she's actually some kind of closeted weird Jigsaw freak.
Now she's not responsible for it.
No, she's not.
And like, to be fair, like she's some weird Jigsaw freak, and like it's on the dark web, and like blah blah blah. She's not actually hurting anyone though.
No.
So like what she's doing is shady and weird, not actually illegal. Yeah. But
it just sucks. The characters suck. The fucking traps are ridiculous. Some of the traps are okay and unique, simple. But then some traps revolve around a lot of weird coincidences and like perfect timing, like just stupid shit like that. And like I said, the characters are stupid. The plot points don't make any sense. Like they had a good idea with Jigsaw. They had a good idea with the game technically taking place 10 years before. The part where you see Jigsaw with the last 2 characters, and you explain with the shotgun part. Mm-hmm. That part was really well done. It's just I wish the whole movie was done like that. Yeah. I wish like the attention and everything that they gave to that single scene that lasts only like 5 minutes. I wish they gave that to the rest of the movie, because then we might have had a decent film.
Yeah.
I am scoring this film. I score films based on what they are. So like I score kids films on the basis that they're kids films. So I give a little leeway, hence why I gave Captain Underpants a 4. It's a kids movie. So I'm scoring this film based on the fact that it is a Saw film. And I know the other Saw films are dumb and stupid and crap. So it's like, they're supposed to just be a fun time at the movies. And as I stated before, I do have fun with some of them, even though I agree they're stupid. Mm-hmm. So even with me scoring this on the basis that it's a Saw film, it's the weakest and worst Saw film in the series. And I am giving it a score of a 3 out of 10.
Wow.
Because I was so upset. Like, there's not one part, besides the part that we explained with Jigsaw and the shotgun, that's the only part I actually really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. And the reveal that this game took place 10 years before. Everything leading up to that was just fucking stupid.
And definitely everything that came after it.
Yeah, it was just a fucking chore to sit through. Mm-hmm. The only Saw film I didn't see in theaters was the 6th one. I saw every other one in theaters, even the 5th one, which I thought was the worst, mm-hmm. but now this one takes it. And I still had fun, though, watching these films, even knowing that they're stupid, you know? I went into this film not expecting a great film or even a very good film. I was expecting maybe just a decent film. Like, I'll get to see some gore. That's not a thing. Even for a Saw film, there's actually not that much gore in the movie.
Yeah, no.
There's actually not that much gore.
It's weird in that, like, they'll show the aftermath, but they actually cut away for a lot of the kill scenes, which was weird.
And it's like, I didn't even get that. Like, I didn't get that. I got shitty characters. I got fucking plot points that made no sense. I got motivation that doesn't make any sense. I got decisions that are dumb. It's just, it's the blueprint of what a stupid fucking dumb horror movie is. That is just a bad horror film. Not stupid and dumb in a good way that you can enjoy. Yeah. Just a bad way. And that's what this film is. So... on to you now.
I'm actually surprised you gave it a 3. Because, like, I don't necessarily like change like my overall ratings based on like genre or type of movie, but I do try to take things into account. Like, you know.
Well, no, that's what I was saying.
Well,
like, I take things into account of like, well, this is a kid's film,
and like you know, like your average horror movie. I do tend to like give a little more leeway to than something like maybe Blade Runner 2049, which like you expect to be like a big powerful film and like and have all sorts of symbolism and stuff, like a horror movie you're not expecting that, and so I will have more leeway with it, and that's kind of part of what's going on here, and that like it was a dumb movie and I didn't particularly like it, and like I could we could definitely sit here and nitpick even more if you really wanted.
Yeah.
But
this video has gone on long enough.
It definitely has.
Longer than it really should have.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't make me as angry as some of the other movies we saw this year. Partly because of expectation. Because I went into this movie knowing what I was getting into. Basically, just expecting that I was going to leave the theater going, that was stupid. And I left the theater saying, that was stupid. So, now again, not having seen the other Saw movies, maybe you were more emotionally invested because you kind of like them.
Yeah.
But, not having seen most of the rest of them, I don't have that. So maybe that's part of it too, but I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Because it's not a good movie, it also doesn't make me angry. So I don't really care, and it just leaves me in the middle of like, it's dumb, I'm not even recommending you see it. If you have to see it, definitely don't go to theaters. But, it's not good. It's probably not going to make you mad. You're just gonna look at it as a thing that happened, and that's what it was to me.
Well, like I said, like I am a casual fan of the Saw films. Like I'm a big fan of the first two. As I said, the other ones I think are hit or miss. But like the thing is that if we would have filmed this right after we saw it, I probably would have been around your score. I probably would have gave it a 5 or something. But it was the sitting down at home and thinking more about it, and then like they start, because it was Halloween, they started playing some of the originals, some of the other ones. So I started watching them, and I just realized just how dumb I hate this. I just realized like how like even for a Saw film, there's a lot of shit that they did that they got wrong. And like you said it perfectly, like the motivation of what Jigsaw stands for is not what this guy is doing.
No, yeah.
So maybe that's why I gave it a lower score than him, because I am a fan of the other ones. Maybe because you haven't seen the other ones or anything like that. Maybe you obviously weren't as emotionally invested in it as I am. But either way, to recap, I gave it a 3. He gave it a 5. That's still like he said.
That's still some of the lowest we've given. I mean, 3 I'm pretty sure is the lowest either of us have given. And
so far,
I've given one or two. Like I've given 1 or 2 4s. So don't think that I'm being positive about this movie, please. No, no.
Like we're still both saying, do not avoid it, please. Don't go see it in theaters. All right, so that's gonna do it for us. Please thumbs up the video if you like it. Please leave a comment and let us know what you thought about Jigsaw, and please subscribe to our channel, and you can see more of these videos where we rant and rave and get really upset. So that's gonna do it for this one, and we are going to be back with Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.